Gary looked in my eyes, like he was trying to tell if I was entirely serious, and then having that confirmed, flew off. I floated there for a few moments after, grabbing my phone and doing so removing it from my pocket. I dialed Lazuli's number, and she didn't answer. I did the same for Marquetta, and the phone rang for a few seconds, rather. Justin, Marquetta said, answering. What's up? Well, me, I answered. I'm in the air, flying around, but I'm not filling all that up. How come? Gary and I confronted Black amid his terrorism, and he got away while we were separated in some smoke that could have done us both harm if we inhaled it. Okay, that has you down? Yeah. Gary went back in there looking for me and could have died inhaling that stuff as a result of being concerned for me. He also could have pursued Black in that time. But if the two of you together couldn't stop Black, what makes you think Gary could have handled him any better on his own? I paused. I'm just saying, I told her. He wouldn't have been slowed down at the end of that. Maybe, she admitted, but I don't think about it too much. Nor should you. It could have been worse if you weren't there. I then flew in the direction of my home. So what are you doing right now? She asked me. Flying home, I answered. Okay. Are you going to be doing anything when you get home? No, she laughed. Since you're not busy, she said with a pause, maybe we can meet up. I'm not in the best of moods. I just let down my friend. Well, don't let this one down by declining her offer. Maybe if you learn this new trick, you won't feel like a liability. What have you got to lose? I thought to myself for a moment. Okay, fine, I said. You know where my house is? I sure do, she replied. I'll be there in an hour. See you then. I hung up the phone then. Flying back to my house took about 3 minutes. I landed a few feet from the porch, removing a key from my pocket and using that to get in. Closing the door behind me and locking it, I went into my room. I could hear my mother and brother in the other room. There was a knock at my door. A few minutes after that, Jordan opening the door and smiling at me. Justin, Jordan said, running over to my chair and hugging me. Did you have a good day? No, I answered him. Do you remember Black? Yeah, that jerk. Well, he's back, and me and Gary fought him together. He got away. Gary went after him, and I couldn't be convinced I was helping and coming along. I'm sure Gary doesn't feel that way. He always wants you to come along, and me too. Gary was going to let me come along, but I didn't think it would make any difference if I was there in any good way. I looked away from him as he said that, or rather as I said that, closing my eyes. Jordan hugged me then. You're going to be okay? He said. I doubt it, I replied, looking at him with a smile, but I'm glad you think so. I embraced him back. My mother came into the room, 3 of us traveling to Burger King, where we acquired our usual meals, eating them after returning home. Jordan and myself ate together, my mother sitting in her room and eating her salad. How come Mom always gets salad even though it's a burger joint? Jordan asked me. She doesn't like the burgers there, I told him. So then she hates meat? No. It sure seems like it. Every time we go up there, all she wants is salad. We get the same thing every time we go up there. Me and number 11, you and number 13. Jordan put his chicken fry on the bag that he had bought it in, which was set on the bed right next to him, and he turned to look me in my eyes. I never really thought about that, Jordan said. You know, the whole thing about us all getting the same thing over and over again. You saw it as a chicken and salads instead of the same chicken and salads, I told him. Happens. I took a bite out of my burger and he looked like he was thinking. There was a knock at the door, and I already knew who it was, abruptly removing myself from my rolling chair and going through the hallway to look in the peephole. It was her, Marquetta, I said, opening the door. Nice to see you too, she replied, noticing Jordan as he stuck his head out. Hey, little buddy. Jordan stomped his feet against the floor while he frowned. I'm not little, he said, stepping over to her. You know that. I do, she confirmed, bending down to ruffle his hair, but it's called sarcasm. Jordan stepped away from her and ran into the back. Now it was just me and her there. You want to do this inside or outside? She asked me. I don't know how we can do it inside, I told her, so I'll go with the latter. She nodded her head and moved out of the doorway before I stepped out of the house, closing the door behind me. Let's do this, Marquetta shouted with excitement, flying over to the sidewalk. I flied over there while she entered a crouching position. Let me show you something, she said, taking her hand and placing it in front of her face. It's a brand new super cool move that you won't believe exists. I stood there unimpressed. She kept holding her hand in front of her face, just a few centimeters away from touching it. Give me a minute, she said. It takes a while for me to focus on it. I looked at her. Remember that I just learned this myself, so I haven't fully mastered it. I sat down on the side of her as she kept that crouching thing going on. She shook a bit and closed her eyes. Then the front door of my house opened. Jordan stepped out. Justin, he called my name. My mom said I had to come out here to block you. Block me from what? I asked him. Jordan flying down in front of me by the time I'd asked the question. Block you from making a move. I'm not going to. Seriously, Mom said she likes her and doesn't want to ban her from coming back to the house if she finds out you made a move. Jordan then folded his arms. I don't get what she's saying, Jordan said with a look of confusion. If you're making a move that can kill the bad guys, then why wouldn't she want to show it to her? The innocence of a child. I don't know, Jordan, I feigned ignorance. Your mother is a complex character. She's a nice lady, Marquetta interjected, looking over to Jordan. Since I can't show your brother, how about you? Okay, Jordan said with excitement. It'll be our little secret. I sat back down, and Marquetta got back into the crouching stance, closing her eyes once more, and doing that almost touching your face thing again. Every time you use it, you have to crouch? Jordan asked. That's been the only way I've stood when I've charged it, she replied. Jordan joined me in sitting down. At that point, we saw a hand-shaped green aura hover just above her hands. Here's a little something from the earth energy, Marquetta said aloud while looking into the sky, giving the two of us a brief glance before ejecting the hand-shaped beam from her hand. Verde visionary. The beam launched and evaporated after a few moments of going further into the air. That was so cool, Jordan said, looking in the sky and then at me. Justin, wasn't that cool? Yeah, I said, smirking. Only thing is, we didn't get to see how effective it is in the fight. Well, with this black thing going on, we'll find out soon enough, won't we? Marquetta asked with a smirk, me nodding my head. So are you going to try it now, or do you need your mommy's permission? Tease all you want, I told her, getting into the crouching position. I placed my hand to my face, just as she had done before, and said nothing for a few moments. Come on, I said, the green hand appearing as an outline of mine. Yes, it then disappeared. No, I said with mild frustration. That was pretty good for a first timer, Marquetta told me. You'll get it, Jordan said. You just need more practice. Speaking of practice, I better go study for this math, I told the two of them, stepping over to Marquetta. I appreciate you trying to show me how to perform this move. You can appreciate that, she replied, but maybe you can feel the same about me coming over here. I do, but you didn't say it. I thought it was a common known fact at this point. I stepped past her and walked the few feet it took to get back into my house. Justin, Jordan called my name. Tell Mom I'm going to stay out here with Marquetta and learn the move. Okay, I told him, closing the front door behind me. I walked through the hallway and knocked on the door of my mother's room. She consented to me coming in from the other side. I stood in the doorway. Jordan staying outside with Marquetta to learn some new move, I told her. Okay, she said. I closed her door and then walked into my room. I dialed Gary's number. Yeah, he answered moments after the phone began ringing. Did you find Black? I asked him. No, I ran out of ideas after an hour of looking. Now I'm with Lazuli, okay? Want to talk to her? Not right now. I'll call you back when you're alone. Okay. 3 people had now said that last word in the last few minutes. I took note of that as we hung up on each other. I moved toward my math book and flipped through the pages for just a moment, prior to my phone beginning to ring. The caller ID identifying as Lazuli as the one who was calling me. Her doing that while out with Gary didn't make much sense to me. It must be urgent. Hello, I answered. Justin, Lazuli said, my name anchored. How come you didn't want to talk to me, but want to talk to Gary when I'm not around? I just don't feel like talking right now. Yeah, not to me. I didn't mean to offend you. Well, offense taken. I was just going to say hi and ask if you were okay. I'm sorry. Too late. She hung up the phone on me. I breathed a sigh and threw my head back, closing my eyes. When you think you're trying not to hurt someone's feelings, I said to myself, you only guarantee yours will get hurt sooner than later.